Well, let's get further analysis now. We're joined by ANC Veteran Omry Makgoale. Dr. Omry, good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time tonight. Firstly, your impressions of how this conference has fared, especially as a long-standing member of the ANC.
I think under the present conditions, I would say it was fairly reasonable, well, under the current conditions, because we are at a very low ebb as the ANC. So I think the conference towards the end maybe has lifted up some of the things, and maybe there's something positive about it that we could think of, especially that the step-aside rule still remains, and we are relieved with that.
Is it giving you a sense of hope about what the future prospects of the party might be?
Look, it's not ideal, but it's better than, we could have imagined. It's not yet there. The ANC is not yet there, because what's going to be important is how are we going to solve the people's problem? How are we going to solve the rail infrastructure? The cables being ripped apart, the traffic lights being ripped apart, the manholes open. How are we going to solve it? And that is where the issue is, because our people, the local South African voter, wants to see those things addressed properly. And that is the key issue. You can have the best of policies and resolutions, but if you can't actually do the actual work of restoring the economy, restoring the infrastructure, employment, all those things, we will just be, in the limbo, in my mind. So we really have to work hard as the ANC. These policies, they might look glorious, some of them, but unless they are implemented, they are meaningless to the ordinary citizen, to the ordinary voter. They are meaningless because people want jobs. Can they get jobs in 3 months' time from these resolutions? If the answer is no, it means then the policies are hopeless, even if they are there. Because you need people to implement these policies so that jobs can be created, infrastructure can be restored, all those things that we need. So what I'm saying is policies in themselves are not enough. You need the personnel to implement them. I don't know whether we have the personnel in the offices to implement them.
Do you think that there's been honest enough reflections on that? Because again, a lot of time was spent reviewing the resolutions taken in 2017, which ones had been implemented and why it was taking so long to have implementation. But the feedback, at least as far as I noted, none of it included the kind of capabilities and capacity that lies within the state to be able to make these policy resolutions a reality.
Yes, I agree with you. The discussion did not really address the issue of the personnel running the state, the personnel running the municipalities, the managers of the municipalities, the accountants of the municipalities, those people that are actually responsible for wasteful expenditures, wasteful resources, all those people. So it has not been addressed at the moment. And after this conference, nothing is going to happen concretely on those people, because those people are placed there by their politicians who have been supposedly elected in the past election. So I think that we are going to find it very difficult to actually clean the ANC and clean the state under the conditions, because basically the people who were deployed, some of them were deployed a long time ago by the Guptas and the Watsons, are still in office. And so those people are not going to do anything good for the ANC or for the people of South Africa. So we still have a battle in our hands. But I think that, Casey, the key issue is for all those delegates, they are aware that unless they act, ANC might lose power in 2024. This is the reality facing the ANC, and all ANC genuine members are aware that we have that possibility of losing elections in 2024 unless we act. So even those that are extremely corrupt, are aware that they might not have the chance to continue looting after 2024 because they will be out of office. So they have to see what they can do to try and retain office in 2024. And I don't know whether they have the capacity to do that. Especially, I mean, we're worried about Gauteng and KZN. We think that they are on the borderline and they are likely to be lost in 2024.
Despite the fact that, you know, the party is in such a dire state, Omry, they seem to be appealing just to the collective conscience of members to do the right thing. And yet, if that was all that was needed, we wouldn't have the kind of corruption scandals that some party members have faced and continue to face to date.
Yeah, that doesn't work, Katie, to be honest. I mean, to appeal to the conscience of members doesn't really work because some of these people don't have conscience anymore, to be honest. Some of these people don't have conscience. Some of them have lost their souls. They no longer have conscience. So they will continue looting and stealing as long as they cannot be arrested. And of course, the police are not in good shape. As you see, the police are not performing well. And the NP, of course, is still recovering. But basically, the police are not in good shape, and so people rip apart the infrastructure. They are not arrested. They rip the rail infrastructure, the power cables, everything, and they are not arrested. They go free, and they loot the municipalities, and they are not arrested. So if you look at such as Imfuleni municipality, where the sewage was going into the river, all the money for the budget was, stolen. Nobody was accounting. Nobody is arrested. So I think that we don't have the personnel in the offices to actually address our problems before 2024. But the delegates were aware that, the clouds are looming, and, the clouds are coming out, across the dark clouds of possibility of losing the elections in 2024.
ANC Veteran Omry Makgoale, we're going to leave it there for tonight. Valen is standing by with a look at your sport.